Warning, the following presentation contains cold, hard truths that might change the way you think. Viewer discretion won't do you any good now.
Games. If you don't think this has been the best year for gaming in a long time, you're just lying to yourself. We got remakes of some of the best games ever. We got Starfield. We got Zelda. We got Diablo. We got that other game that looks way better than Diablo. We got Star Wars. We got College Sex Party? Oh. I can't even show this game. It's literally a porno. Wait, is this the new CD Projekt Red game? Looks like they're really honing in on what they're about. But the game that inspires my brand of conversation was Final Fantasy XVI. Final Fantasy might be my favorite gaming franchise. They have some of the best storylines in gaming. The art direction, character development, world design, constantly evolving battle systems and skill trees, minigames. Some of the greatest music ever written, ever, and the fact that all the major entries have pushed their hardware to its limits. People love to list how many Final Fantasy games they've played.
I'm a massive Final Fantasy fan. 8 and 10 are two of my favorite games. I really loved 7 Remake.
I played pretty much all the Final Fantasy games. Yes, that includes Dirge of Cerberus. Yes, that includes the crappy mobile games. I even played the Battle Royale.
And I'm not going to do that, because who honestly gives a shit? But I have no problem with people having a list. I get it. There are so many good games in this series. And I also don't have a problem with people who didn't like 16. It's very different. You play as a single character now, and it's a lot more action-oriented. What I do have a problem with is people who have a problem with people who like the game.
If you buy Final Fantasy XVI, you're an idiot. People are so stupid now. They literally just call anything good, anything a masterpiece, anything a hype. Like, as long as other people like it, they like it too. They're followers.
Are you allowed to just like something anymore? I don't think you are. It's official.
I mean, you can play the game with one hand and win.
Oh, really? What are you using for the other buttons? Your foot?
The game literally plays itself. I put the controller down so many times and the game just started playing itself. Boring cutscene simulator.
So he put the controller down during a cutscene and the game played itself. Wow, that is crazy.
But for real gamers such as myself on higher levels of thinking such as myself, we're not fooled by this garbage.
This is higher thinking? If this is higher thinking, we are not gonna make it.
So go ahead, play this button mashing casual piece of garbage like the clown that you are and get made fun of by real gamers such as myself on higher levels of thinking such as myself.
I love how he has to keep mentioning that he's smart.
And anybody that disagreed, show me your trophies, bro.
Oh, God.
You don't like what I say in this video? Show me do you even play games or do you just react to them?
Oh, you mean what you're doing right now? Look, this is one of those franchises that's been around for so long that it has a lot of disoriented fans. I mean, this is number 16. And to anyone who is still crying about how Square will never capture the magic of Final Fantasy 6 through 10 ever again, move the fuck on. It's been more than 20 years. 16 is not perfect, but god damn, if you didn't have fun playing this game, I really think you need to spend less money at GameStop and more on some form of medical treatment. If I didn't already have a PS5, I would buy one for this game. The combat, world design, set pieces, characters, oh my god, the music. It's such a worthy entry into this series that by the end earns the right to be called Final Fantasy, maybe more than any entry before it. Comparing this game to its predecessor, Final Fantasy XV, it's basically the polar opposite. Now, that is a game that I absolutely stand by and still go back to, but it's like they took the battle system from 15 and just went, fuck all of this. And where 15 stumbled by feeling almost cumbersome with the amount of content thrown all over the place, not just with DLC and other multimedia, but also having a game world that was a little too big for its own needs, 16 shaves off all the fat and streamlines everything to the point where it's very clear that they didn't want to waste your time. But this game really hit it out of the park, undeniably, in 2 categories: story and action. I really wanted the story to be good. First of all, it is good. Second, it's dark. Third, it might be the biggest, most sprawling story they've ever done, which is saying a lot. And fourth, it's actually coherent. It's not filled with plot holes or spread across movies and anime milk carton collectibles. It's like they got smacked in the face after 15 and really learned their lesson. It's like somebody took that big noodle fork and shoved it right... Never mind. The thing I really appreciated was that they knew how to make the story easy to follow, with menus that focus on what's currently important, and other menus that allow you to read all the other shit. But being able to easily manage all of the lore in the game is something that 13 tried to do, and something that 15 could have really benefited from. I think something 15 had that 16 lacks was the cup noodle endorsement. There should have been a chapter where Clive has to visit Carl's Jr. I mean, honestly, if people were so into that, why aren't they pissed off that this wasn't in the game? Huh? As for the action, this game has some of the most insane action that you can currently lay your eyes on. It's like the developers looked at Asura's Wrath and were like, hold my crack pipe. I'll bet every power metal band was jerking off to this game. They were like, oh god, yes! This is what we've been singing about all these years! But the way the game's most ridiculous scenes help to amplify what's going on in the story makes for such an insane power fantasy and a roller coaster ride that I honestly think every gamer should experience. The regular combat in this game is such a blast. Now, it may look like someone is just mashing buttons nonsensically, but what you're doing is surprisingly elaborate, although not to the point where the controls aren't really satisfying. It's way more precise than previous Final Fantasy games, and it's just a joy to play with the different icon abilities. There's nothing like jumping into a pack of unsuspecting enemies and just unleashing this. Come on. But you know, my favorites are the simple ones. The flame sword hit is a classic. Just finding the best moments to land that, or the best, finishing a battle with one. Wow. You think he's gonna be okay? As you can imagine, I'm a huge fan of Titan's moves. It's all about getting in there for a nice boof. Oh yeah. Going around giving someone boof. Who wants it? Who wants a boof? It's all about getting in there and just boofed. But I'm in the camp of thinking Bahamut is the most fun icon to use. The Giga Flare, the Satellite, the blue fire breath. I love how enemies just join in. Stupid. I really don't give a flying rat's ass about those assist rings. The biggest controversy of this game is not the R-rated themes or the action gameplay. People are really butthurt about the accessibility rings that serve as the game's difficulty modifier. Some people have complained that if you equip these, the game becomes too easy, or they've gone as far as saying it completely ruins the game. The amount that I care about these rings being in the game can be summed up with this graphic. Look, I completely understand if you found the assist rings to be a dumb feature, but the fact that people are mad about it, just don't use them. I really don't care that other people are cheating their way through the game with zero effort. Knock yourselves out. They just want everybody to be able to enjoy the story. And the rings are actually an improvement over what the 7 Remake did, which had a mode where the game actually played itself. This is infinitely less stupid than that. I'm also sick of hearing the argument that just because Elden Ring is successful, that means this game should have been just as hard. Completely different game. You want something hard? Do those chronolith trials. Those are some of the toughest challenges in the game. where you'll need to become adept at pretty much every icon ability if you want to beat them all. But the fact that you can respec all your skill points an infinite number of times makes this not just doable, but actually really fun. Now, lately, Final Fantasy has been getting grilled heavily in two categories: the side quests and the RPG mechanics. For all the articles out there saying things like God of War is more an RPG than Final Fantasy XVI, shut up. Nearly every game nowadays has RPG elements in it. The term RPG doesn't really mean shit anymore. I mean, Ghost Recon could be considered an RPG. And if Final Fantasy wants to experiment and change or combine genres, that's awesome, because there's no one I can think of that could do it better. Now, as for the side quests in this game,
the game has side content, but it's actually side content that's worse than any MMO side content you've ever seen. It was like a 5-minute subquest, and all of them are like that.
if you found the side quests in this game boring, you probably only did the first 4. A lot of them contain great storylines. You usually get to go to a part of the map you never would have gone to, and they almost always involve combat or a boss battle. This right here is a side quest. And look at this. Side quest. Even quests that sound boring, like gathering flowers, really translates to fighting a Gygus. If you're actually missing out on these, you're fucking up big. Yes, 15 had some time-consuming side quests, but this ain't that. They even have a quest called Cock and Ball. I mean, I told you this game was R-rated. Speaking of ball, I'm gonna gigaflare this Gygus right in the nuts, because I am an immature man. One of the reasons why I didn't really mind any activities in this game is because the graphics are just utterly disgustingly stupid. Combat is always beautiful to look at, almost to the point where it's distracting, but I love that about it. And the calmer story beats where it's just dialogue actually really pop in their own way. As for the controversial motion blur that they eventually patched, people really exaggerated how bad it was. It was definitely hideous, but it didn't impair me with nausea and headaches like some people claimed. If you're getting headaches and nausea from a motion blur, why are you playing a game like this? I mean, you think a blur was bad. How are you going to get through a single boss battle? Now, like every Final Fantasy, this game has a lot of characters that really shine, and a lot of women clearly have a fan-favorite male character, Goots. You see, Cid was too likable. Goots has a little more dimension.
You want a piece of Nan? You'll have to go through me.
But I feel like both Cid and Goots do not look how they sound.
What in good Grieger's name is he doing this far south?
Those men didn't hurt Martha, did they?
I think they should both switch voices. Women would be so pissed.
Don't ask me. I don't bloody know.
Cid, we can barely understand you. Stop smoking. Somebody get this guy some soft. It's like his voice turned to stone. And also, everybody's talking about Cid, but what about Gav?
Would you mind telling me what the fuck just happened? We don't even know where the fucker went. Oh, fuck.
This guy is clearly the Stifler of the game, and I'm totally here for it.
Because you're our brother, Gav. My brother.
But Final Fantasy has always known how to be sexy, and this game does deliver. Although I found myself looking for sex in the wrong places.
I'm sure it will serve us until we can find another source.
Oh, that's not necessary. I really don't mind doing this for you.
You think only of how you might help others, and never of the danger to yourselves.
Well, I mean, I am single.
I am honored that you should say so.
No, I'm serious. I'm not just saying that. I am.
Do not give too much of yourself for the sake of others.
Okay, you're not following me here.
Are you looking for something in particular?
Yeah, you're
Thank you.
Wait, why did that bleep? I said potions. Something that is fairly obvious about this game is that the world it takes place in was inspired by Game of Thrones. which I finally watched, by the way. I don't think this is a bad thing. It was one of the most culturally impactful fantasy worlds of all time, and while the developers were told to watch the show as inspiration for making the game, I still think people exaggerated the similarities, and also acted like total bitches about it. Yeah, of course it's not as good as George R.R. Martin's writing. It's not a frickin' HBO TV series. But I think the Game of Thrones influence is really just on the surface level. Once you get past the intro of the game, you get to crystals, icons, dominance, and you see that the story is way more Final Fantasy than anything else. Now, I may have disagreed with nearly every criticism that you've heard people say about this game, but that doesn't mean I don't have a few of my own. I'll start with the most important thing. I think they should have used a different song in the credits. Ugh. Are you kidding me? I could have made a better song than that. There's too many scenes of you coming upon a pile of dead civilians. It happens so much. It starts to lose its oomph after a while. The only other thing I find wrong with this game, where are all the outfits? This game doesn't have nearly as many cosmetic options as 15 did. Now, they recently released a free DLC pack that did include new outfits. But look at this. Are you serious? That's it? It's the same outfit. You know, for a modern Final Fantasy to skimp out on the fashion, now that's fucking bullshit. Clive is a handsome guy. I want to see how he looks in a dress.
Whoa, that is one hot chick.
But overall, as a Final Fantasy fanatic, I was pretty floored with this game. And by that I mean, I loved 15, and this game wiped the floor with it. It built on the best aspects of 15 and the 7 Remake. The storytelling is seriously improving, and it really seems like they're fine-tuning the more these newer entries are released. As for the future of this series, back in May, Naoki Yoshida revealed that he discussed the possibility of removing the numbers from the game's titles because they're sick of having to tell people that they don't need to play the earlier entries. Who is not aware of that by now? I feel like anyone that gives two shits about this series knows that that's the case. But just recently, it came out that Square suffered a near $2 billion loss since the release of Final Fantasy XVI, and that supposedly their new CEO plans on reducing the number of smaller games in favor of focusing on the more big-budget ones. That's a huge 10-4 there, brother. It only took you 17 spin-offs of Final Fantasy VII to figure that out. But I hope they never stop making the grand, event-like, mainline Final Fantasy games. Don't remove the numbers, because a lot of people will probably not care anymore. And I kinda hope to be playing Final Fantasy 23 one day. Actually, at the rate you guys are taking to make them, I probably won't live to see that one. But I can't express how much I appreciate how different these games are. I hope that never stops being the case, because that's what keeps me coming back to all of them. That is what makes this whole series so timeless. And remember,
you know, I know a weeaboo is someone who desperately wants to be Japanese, but what the hell do you call a Japanese developer who desperately wants to be Western?
we call that you're a piece of shit. Thanks for watching.